So what is happening on your all's homestead? Today we wanted to share what our homestead's doing here at the end of May. Before we get started, we're the Canny Couple. I'm Julia, Aaron's behind the camera, and we're a small homestead family working every single day to merge homesteading and frugality. So as you see, we're in our garden. And I have to say, Aaron was kind of surprised at how good it looked. He was like, wow, it's looking really good, because I just weeded it. It's not going to look like this all the time, but it's actually looking really good. We've had a lot of rain lately. And you can see we have turnips. These are turnips. We have turnips and rutabagas on the back of each of these rows. And then we have winter squash. This is winter squash. Pumpkins, beans. The only thing that's really not coming up is our watermelon. That we're hit or miss on watermelon.
We are.
We're so hit or miss on watermelon. But everything's looking really good in our garden. And actually, let's show you all the buckets. So we talked about our homestead mistake a couple weeks ago, and everything actually came out. So here's the broccoli. These broccoli look a lot better than the broccoli I have in the beds.
Agree.
They look so much better. They look a lot healthier.
And I was actually going to look at these. I hadn't looked at them yet.
So here's tomato plants. They're all looking really good. I'm not really seeing issues. I'm actually at the point where I can start tying them to this fencing. So everything's looking really good over here. We also, you can see this massive orris that we have here.
God, with no berries on it this year.
No berries, which I'm not ungrateful for.
It is very painful.
It's very painful. This is a defense. This is a defense bush.
Yes, totally agree.
That's the best way to say it. I have my first planting of summer squashes in the ground.
Yeah,
so,
they're not up yet. We just planted those
Sunday.
Okay, I've lost track of days.
So I'll do two more plantings. So next week I'll plant one, and then the next week I'll plant another. And that worked out really well for us. And I'm hoping I could get an area over here where I can get another planting. Not now, in a couple of years. We got to work on this.
Yeah, I was like, now?
No, not now, in a couple of years. Our beets are also doing really good. They're looking fantastic.
Let's see if I can.
So, our problem children. They look amazing. They really do, compared to what they looked like before. They really popped out of it. You can't tell that I hit them.
Not now, you can't. You can sort of see, especially right here, these were the really bad ones that I had the picture beside of. You can sort of see that they're just now coming out of it.
But there's no yellow. They came out. So we might have wasted some money getting some new starts. Aaron's like, it's not a waste if we get more tomatoes.
Right.
And we get some other stuff. But you also see here, we have some Tabasco. It's cayenne, banana peppers.
And jalapenos.
Jalapenos. So a whole bunch of different things that we've got going on right now. I do see some powder. I don't ever get too terribly worried about that as long as it doesn't stunt my plant's growth. They're growing good. I know a lot of people spend a lot of time looking at that. We have found we just kind of let the garden do its thing. It kind of takes care of itself.
Right.
But that works out for us. It doesn't work out for everybody. We totally get that. This is our sorghum.
It sort of looks like grass.
It does look like grass.
And
so it is not as weeded as other parts of the garden.
Right. But it's hard to tell until it gets a little bit bigger.
And you can kind of see the stalks. So I don't want to rip it out, just in case.
Right.
Because it does take a while to grow. It takes a while to get through. So we don't want to rip it out. So what I usually do, and my plan this year is actually to go through every week with the wheel hoe. That's why it looks really decent right now. That wheel hoe, and the ground is so soft. Mm-hmm. This is the softest our ground has ever been.
And that's because we didn't till.
We did till, well, we tilled at the end of last year.
At the end.
At the end.
To put leaves in.
To put leaves in.
But everything else has been
We used
turned
to till every year during the year.
in
That's what we
multiple
were
times.
taught. That's what we were taught.
That's what you were taught.
That's what you were taught. You were taught to till your garden. Like, I feel like my dad thinks I'm committing blasphemy.
I know it.
when I say we don't till. But that wheel hoe, it does just enough. And
Yep.
it took me, what, maybe an hour to go through the whole thing?
I would say that's about right.
Because it was when I brought her up here
Yeah.
before nap time. So I had a time where me and the baby were out here. She helped me with the garden. So let's show you our cucumber patch. This is a little different. We changed it up this year. We made a U shape. These are beans. They're actually doing really well. This is a test area. If they don't come up, this is my last year doing beans.
Well, I mean, if you don't get a good harvest.
If I don't get a good harvest.
Sorry, it's itching my leg.
So this is our cucumber patch. It's actually doing pretty good. So we have a U-shaped fence here.
And we've got random squash
Or something.
in the middle.
They look like squash. We're not quite sure. They're volunteers. But I will tell you, had the best volunteer squash
We did.
last year. It was massive, this massive green thing. It was hard. It was one of the hardest squash I've ever cut. But it was one of the best tasting squash I've ever had. I have no idea what it was. But as you can see, they're coming up, and we'll get them up on the chicken wire. The chicken wire works just fine for cucumbers and things like that.
Right.
I've never had an issue with it. These are the Jerusalem artichokes. So you can tell we just let that patch go. All I do is maintain and contain it.
Yes.
That is the main thing.
We don't let it get out of control, but actually, it was way down in our yard.
It was in the yard.
Way down there,
But
like down the hill.
And so what I do is I'll come in here and I will swatch it, and I keep it in this patch. This is not something we eat often. It's not our favorite, but it's forever food. It always comes back. Doesn't hurt anything. This little patch, I could use it for more cucumbers, but it does fine for what it is. So I'm going to show you our berry patch next, because you all are going to be so excited about it. So welcome to berry patch number 1. So over here to the left of me, you see our blueberries, and today we actually picked 4 cups of blueberries. Yes, 4 cups. Yep. Which is outstanding for us right now.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the season.
They're loaded.
And we are loaded. We're actually having to pick them when they're about half turned right now, because the birds are getting them heavier than ever before.
We've never had that much of an issue with birds.
I caught it today. We were out here. I was tying up the vines on this side of the garden, or berry area. I was tying those up, and I noticed that probably 20 or 30 had been eaten on by birds, and that's unheard of. That might be our total for the year. They usually pick the other ones. So, but here you see we have our grapes. We have we'll walk down through here in just a second, but these are our grapes, and they are looking really good. We're actually going to spray them with milk again. I can tell you it's helped. So far it's helped. Because we do have a fungus issue, and I'm really hoping if we can get through this, we're gonna have an amazing harvest.
Yeah, and William, the permaculture consultant, gave us the milk recommendation.
Absolutely. And then here is our blackberry.
As you can see, the bloom.
As you can see from the blooms all over. And this is me maintaining it.
Yes.
This was the maintenance on this thing.
This wasn't, it has been controlled right now.
It is controlled right now. I'm very heavy on control. I do have a lot of dead canes I need to get out of here. That's going to be a winter project. Oh, these are more grapes. And these right here are boysenberries. Yep. They kind of all intermingled, and I'm okay with that. You can tell I've got grapes in with my blackberries, and a lot of people might have issues with that, but that just to me means more food. It's all growing. They don't really commingle with each other. We've never had that problem, and maybe we create an amazing fruit. Who knows? But these are doing amazing. We are getting, but this is probably 3 times more than what we had last year. At least.
Yeah, this is amazing amount of blooms. I just hope they're not too small.
That's a problem.
From how much there is right now.
And they're still not done.
I know. See here, some of them are just still starting to bloom.
But these boysenberries, they look amazing. I will tell you, it is 3 times as many as we had last year. And they're just getting ready to start. So we are harvesting berries like crazy right now. And I'm going to be doing some videos for you for tips and tricks when you have a huge berry harvest, how to manage that, because I wasn't good at it before. I was very bad at it before. We let a lot of berries go to waste, but last year I figured it out. And we didn't have, the only thing that got wasted was the gojies, because those weren't my responsibility.
I wonder whose responsibility those were. And
You
it might be because somebody doesn't really like the gojies.
I do not. These are dead canes. Again, I've got to get them out, but you could tell like we just sort of maintain the area. That's the goal, is to maintain. And this has worked out really well for us. These are Logans. And again, we didn't have a good Logan crop last year, but we do this year.
Yeah, there's quite a few here.
We've got our first one turning here. And these are also, are these Boysen or Logan?
Those are Logans.
They're Logans.
On this one.
And then Logan's down there as well?
Yes. Yep. Okay. As you notice, she asks me quite often.
Well, he remembers everything. And then we have, this is the plum, right?
Yes. This is one of the plums.
I know the apricots, but don't ask me what all of the other stuff is.
Okay. Which way are you going?
Over here. So, as you can see, we've got a huge crop coming in. It's going to be amazing. We got a lot of berries to put away. I'm going to be canning a lot, making a lot of jelly, a lot of jam. It's going to be busy. Now let's show you our tater patch. So here's our tater patch. Yes, I can call it a tater patch because I am very southern. So that is normal. But as you can see, it's looking really good. Our potatoes, they're not too big. This is actually a really good size for them. We're starting to get some blooms. The red potatoes, I'm pretty sure the reds are in the back. The whites are in the front. We can actually start processing and harvesting those. We don't want those to get too big. We prefer them small. We can start eating on them. Aaron will come and get a hill or two at a time, and we'll just eat through those while they're still in the ground.
Yeah.
Before we harvest in total.
I'm not sorry. I'm going around the edge here just because I saw some poison ivy at the door. I didn't want to get in there. But you will notice we don't have a whole lot of weeds in between our rows.
And I don't touch this thing. She
hasn't touched it since we put down the grass and leaf mulch.
Yeah, I don't touch this area. I don't come out here and weed it. I don't come up here.
Right.
I said it, forget it. And I will tell you, this has been one of the best, most productive potato patch areas we've had on the property. It's been the most productive. It's been the easiest.
And hardly any bugs.
There's a little bit, but not as many as what we would be used to.
Right.
Like it was every day in the garden knocking tater bugs off of the plants.
So, and I think it's because the soil is in such good shape.
It's in much better shape up here.
Right.
And we have leaf mulch and grass mulch. We couldn't get enough grass to cover, so what I did is I pulled leaves down. So this year in the fall, what I'll do is I'll pull leaves in this open area.
Yep, right
I'll
push
there. A huge amount. You need 3 times more than you think you need. Or even more than that. Double it. And I'm going to go ahead and get those piles ready so when we plant them, we can go ahead and get them mulched in, because the more you put on it, the better they grow. It is crazy how much it helps. And even grass mulch, that helps as well.
Right.
But this area has been one of the best.
Yeah, and the fence is probably about 6 feet tall. It's on a slope now.
It is.
And we haven't had any issue with deer getting in the potato patch up here.
No, now we set this up to be a pumpkin patch.
And the grass overtook it up here because we didn't use a leaf mulch or a grass mulch to keep the everything down as well.
Nope. But it's worked out really well for us. I'm really happy with this one. This area has worked out super well for us. I wouldn't change it. I'm not have no intentions of moving it. If anything, we might like give it a year to rest and just kind of let it have some time to rest. But in all reality, I mean, we put leaves on it, let it do its thing.
We get some compost up in here.
Well, even over here, it just falls from the trees.
There's so much trees right here can naturally get the leaves from.
So, but this has worked out really well for us. I'll never change this for this area. But this area didn't have a lot of stuff on it. Wasn't ever really heavily used before.
No.
It wasn't where the old garden was a long time ago.
Mm-mm.
It wasn't really cut by the hay balers because it's too close to the woods. I mean, maybe a little bit, but
Maybe
not,
a little, but nothing probably ever grew much right here.
no, because of trees.
Yep.
But the potatoes have done really well, so I won't move those. So tell me what's happened at your garden. I'd love to know. And while you're doing that, please hit the like, subscribe button. We would really appreciate it. But let us know what's going on y'all's homestead in your garden. For us, we're processing, we're planting, we're
Berry
getting
picking
food.
galore.
Berry picking galore. There's so many berries. It's kind of crazy when you look at it. Like I said, I'll have some videos on how to get those processed for y'all.
But you know, if any comments, questions, anything you want to hear in a future episode, you can send it to thecannycouple@yahoo.com. And make sure to go over and check out our link tree with all of our other content.
And as always, thank you for joining us on the Canny Couple, where we work hard, live simple, and enjoy life. Have a wonderful day.